Alrighty then, boys. Been out here trying to pick sticks up out of the yard and whatnot. They just fall wherever they want. Had a weird little episode with somebody pulling in the driveway and screaming. I don't know what the hell. Of course, Cooper's not happy with me. I went and got hay to put in their houses. I clean the dog houses out once a year. And, make sure they're not leaking and clean all the old hay out, put fresh hay in them for the winter. And I noticed, I was looking at the weather, I think in the next week and a half, we're going to have mid to low 40s at night. So it's time to do their hay. I also have heated water buckets for them. And last year I had completely forgot. I always run a extension cord from the edge of my deck. You can see all my cords. And I run them all the way out to the dog pens. I forgot about it, and I run over it with the tractor. So I got to get me a few more extension cords. I wadded them up real good in the finish mower. But I got the houses all cleaned out and freshened their water buckets up. I'm already muddy as all get out. Went and got some fresh wheat straw from the store, packed back in the houses. I spent a lot of time yesterday cleaning up the shop. It ain't perfect, but it's a lot better. I filled up a whole trash can, got rid of boxes. The top of my toolbox is pretty clean. I got bench space again. Got some of this organized. This bench is pretty clean. I was doing some work on the engine yesterday. I finalized this fitting. Goes to the pump. I still ain't hung the pump yet. The way this head is cut, I got to grind this little nipple off here, because when I rotate it all the way to the head, the throttle won't move. So even if I bring it back a little bit, it still wants to hang right there. So I need to cut that little tab off. Got most of my stuff figured out. I think I'm gonna run my water back up to the front to right here. And I'm gonna have to do something goofy with a fitting right here. I originally had my water temp right here. I'm just gonna move it. So I had two temperature sensors. The factory one goes back here, and I had my autometer gauge up front. I'm just gonna put my autometer back here and eliminate the factory gauge. So I got to get one more of these -10 fittings, because I got to have one here and at the front. I got to get a bushing, because here's the factory sender and then my sender. So I got to get a bushing for that. I went ahead and put the rest of my studs in for my exhaust manifold. I found a plug for that. I got to get a plug for this. And I'm going to redo my oil line. So now I got to have two new fittings, one here and one on the turbo up top. I got my drain on. So I got to get a fitting for here, a fitting for the block, and then the hose between the two. I still need to pull that back off, chase that hole, and swap the gasket out. And then I'm going to have to plug this or cut it off and weld it up or something. But I got to get rid of that because I don't need it anymore. Originally, these things have a secondary transmission cooler that sits right here. And it's a fluid to water. So it bolts here, the transmission lines come up from the bottom, and then it runs water off of here into it, and then back up to the front into this port. Well, I eliminated that because the common rail trucks had a problem with them. The cooler would bust internally, and then it would fill the transmission with coolant. And anybody that's ever dealt with that, ethylene glycol absolutely destroys clutch packs. It turns the friction material into like snot almost. I've never heard of a problem with the first gens, but it was time to get rid of it. It creates a bunch more space. It's not in the way. It eliminates potential leaks and water pipes and blah, blah, blah. I got enough transmission cooler on that thing. It should be fine. I've got one of those B&M plate coolers, and it's the biggest one you can buy. Everything, all the transmission lines run through -8 lines, and excuse me, I've got a PPE, damn, I've got a PPE double deep pan, so it's a lot of fluid, and it cools just fine. When the truck was running, and I had that cooler on the side, of course the engine would be at operating temperature about 190. The factory thermostat's like a 192. It would hang out about 180, 190 depending. But the transmission temperature never got over like 140, which in my book is a little bit cold. You know, I'd like to see it up 160, 175, 180. That's a good operating temperature for the fluid. So I think eliminating that cooler may help my transmission warm up, but I'll still have enough, more than enough cooling capacity to keep it cool. So I've been messing with fittings and figuring stuff out. I did put the thermostat in it because I needed to put this engine hook on here, you know, to see how I was going to run all this. But I realized something. The factory cylinder head, you see on the very back of it, it's got those 2 holes right there. Well, that's where the factory lift hook goes. And there's nothing on this head. So now I got to figure out how the hell I'm going to pick the engine up. I did finish bolting the adapter on, and I hung the starter on it. But I got it much cleaner in here. You know, other than the rags I use to keep wiping my hands off. There we go. I did bring the lawnmower inside since it's been raining and everything. But yeah, shop is much cleaner, much nicer. Finally finished cleaning up all the mess from the solvent tank. The JB Weld's still drying. I'm gonna wait a few days before I put fluid in there just to make sure that stuff cures good. And I'm hoping I'm gonna put diesel fuel back in it. I do know JB Weld doesn't like gasoline, but I think it'll hold up to diesel fuel. So we're gonna cross our fingers on that deal. So there's a little shop update. And I've been told I need to call some companies and see if I can get some advertisement money, because I seem to advertise a lot of stuff. You know, I always rave about Hamilton cams and Keating machine, and you know, I did me a spot on my boots and my socks, and you know, every product I use I kind of promote. You know, not to get money off of anybody, just, you know, I really enjoy the products I use and the people I deal with, and you know, I kind of want to share that with folks. You know, this is kind of my review. I don't write reviews on the internet. You want me to review something, I'll do it on my channel. I always rave about the small engine folks in Oakland that, you know, help me out getting parts and advice on, you know, stuff like this. You know, they always have everything I need. They're an Echo dealer, and I love my Echo stuff. Hell, I've had that backpack blower for like 12 years. I love that thing, and I run the crap out of it. And then last year, I bought this, it's a commercial grade Echo weed eater. That's a bad boy. It's like 52cc or something. It's a PAS 2620, I think. Man, that's a bad dude. It cuts. I like them folks in Oakland that help me out, and you know, the companies around town and the people I talk to and use, I like to share that with folks. You know, so if they need to do the same thing that, you know, I've already kind of given a good recommendation on, you know, hey, these folks are good, they know what they're talking about, they can get you your stuff, they, you know, it's what it is. And you know, any other products that I use I really like, you know, I'll do a review on it, you know, throw some good words out there, whatever. But I gotta go fix the old tire on the mule. I'm tired of it going flat. They're 6-ply tires, but the way I hunt, I got one tire that I keep having to replug, so I got some of that green slime I'm gonna put in the tire. I I don't like doing that. I'd rather just fix it right, but I've tried patching it, and because of all the mud and stuff I'm in, it seems to pack the hole, and it gets in between the patch and the tire, and it doesn't leak, it doesn't seal, and anyway, I did get rid of all my gallon jugs. Ended up emptying almost 4 buckets. I did find one more empty gallon jug. So I got some empty buckets finally to use to drain my oil in. That's usually how I do it. I hang my pans up so they drip into the bucket. And since it's becoming the bonfire season, I got a big thing I still got to get rid of all this trash, but my trash can's full. I put all my used oil down the side of the shop where it can't get rained on. And whenever I do bonfires or burn brush or something, I use that as my starting fuel. Oh, there's another branch. So, but I gotta fix the tire on the mule. I'm gonna go get my neighbor and see if he'll help me get this hay in these dog houses, because it's kind of hard to carry a bale of hay through. Hey, what are you complaining about? What a goober. It's hard to carry a bale of hay through a pen door and not let the dog out, so I'm gonna get my neighbor to bust the bale open and hand me a chunk over the fence, and then I'll put it in the doghouse. But anyway, and I had to move. I had little Jenny's igloo off to one side, and she stands on it, gets on the side of the fence, and then she's been eating the green tarp over her pen. So I put her house in the middle, and she doesn't look too happy about that, so that she can't get to the tarp. I have to do something different. She's restless. I've got her some toys in there to chew on, but I know she's got too much energy. She's still a puppy. She's just over 10 months, maybe 11 months. No, gotta be right at 10 months. I know she ain't close to a year yet. But so far, so good. It's looking like we're gonna hunt tonight. It feels pretty nice outside. A little humid, but it's supposed to cool off a little bit. So I'm gonna go fix the tire on my mule, get some hay in the dog houses, and finish picking up limbs. And I got a few catch-a-labs out back that I've had set up. Maybe I've caught me a coon or the neighbor's cat or something. I can go check on that, see what I can do with it. But anyway, God, what, son? Anyway, we'll catch y'all later. I'd do something stupid, I'll let y'all know. Deuces.